All right, recording in progress. So good morning, Jim Jam Gang. I've got another guest here today. Now, if you are, someone born, like this millennium, you probably won't know who it is. But what can I tell you? Just put your microphones on mute if you can. His name is Harry Styles, and once he was a singer in a band called One Direction, and One Direction were a bit of a all the older generation know. But he's actually here today as the servant of the Queen, because the thing I want you to understand about nouns, and the Queen represents the nouns, is that they have servants, they have things, they have words that work for them exclusively, just for nouns. And Harry is going to be one of those people today. All right. So remember, nouns, name, person, places, people, places, things that you have, things that you can feel. Yep, that's nouns. Verbs give nouns their energy, right? So the be, do, have that nouns get up to, that's expressed in the verbs. But then there's this servant. Servant, do you know what a servant is? A servant is an old name for people who used to work for other people. It's actually a pretty horrible thing, servants, right? But they did all of the kind of tasks that the royalty and the posh people didn't want to do, right? They're called servants, okay? So they serve the Queen. And one of the things that they do is that they describe the Queen. So here we have, or they describe the nouns. So here we have I'm going to do a little play now. You ready? Oh, this is Harry Styles, right? He goes, oh, Your Majesty, you look really, really elegant today, right? So he's providing her with the word elegant. I hope you know what elegant means. Do you know what elegant means? Write it in the chat if you can give me a good definition for elegant. What does elegant mean? Does it mean ugly? Does it mean clumsy? I can see lots of people shaking their head. Fancy. I like that. That's a really good definition. Let's take the word fancy as well, right? Because this is another word that can describe a noun, yeah? Elegant, fancy, pretty. Yes, absolutely. I like that. These are all really good words that describe nouns. They help to give more information about a noun, right? Elegant. Elegant also means graceful. Yep, it also means stylish. Harry stylish, right? No, that just made that up. That's not what that means, right? But anyway, Harry goes, oh, Your Majesty, Your Majesty, you're looking very elegant today. And she goes, elephant, right? And Harry goes, no, not an elephant. Elegant, right? If you actually take the word elephant, I'm going to write it here, which has, some letters in common with elegant. What you've got there is what part of speech? What's elephant? What is that? Is that a noun? Is it a verb? Is it a pronoun? What is elephant? Oh, look, everybody's writing. Absolutely. Now I'm going to show you an incredible trick. Are you ready? Hold on to your hats because this is amazing. I can take this noun elephant, right? I can take this noun elephant and I can add a suffix, "-ine". It's not a very common suffix. You don't see this a lot on the end of words. But now I've changed the noun elephant into another word, elephantine, which means like an elephant, right? That's what suffixes do. They can take one part of speech, like noun, and turn it into another part of speech, elephantine. So if you go around doing elephant things, you are elephantine. If you have a big trunk and huge ears, you could be described as elephantine, right? Like an elephant. How cool is that? That's how words work. Anyway, the part of speech that I'm talking about that describes nouns, that is the servant for nouns. Do you know what part of speech that is? What is the name for words that do the job of describing nouns? What is the name for that? I know some of you know. Ooh, and that was good. I don't know who is at Amy's computer, but is it Sophie? Is it Matilda? It's Jack. Oh, Jack, sorry, I should have mentioned you first. You always come along and you're brilliant. Absolutely. These are called adjectives. Ad means to or towards. Ject, well, ject is really interesting because ject has all the meaning within that word. Ject, it means to throw. What's that got to do with nouns? Oh my goodness, that sounds complicated. It's not, right? What you're doing is you're throwing words towards the subject of the sentence. And remember the other day we were talking about subjects of the sentence? Well, look, that's got the base ject in it as well because the subject is a noun. So you're throwing information toward the subject, and that's an adjective. That's the thing. You're throwing information. So here's Harry. You ready? He's going to throw all these adjectives at the noun. Ready? Here we go. Oh, Your Majesty, you're looking very elegant. You're looking very fancy. You're looking very pretty. You're looking very elephantine. Whoops. Ah! Right? Oh, I think Harry felt really guilty for calling the Queen elephantine, and he fell over with his guilt. Anyway, they are all adjectives. Adjectives describe nouns. So, have you got your dragon sentence? You got your dragon sentence? I hope so, because I'm going to share my dragon sentence with you now, and I'm going to show you how to mark it. Here we go. All right. Dragon sentence. Here we go. So remember, and this is a review of what we've done this week. We drew a circle around the nouns. So our first noun was dragon. And our next noun was teacher. And our last noun was bridge. And we also did a circle around the pronoun. Do you remember the pronoun that stood in for whoever owns the big green dragon? So that was my big green dragon. So I would write Lynn's, but you wrote George's or Maggie's or Margot's or Archer's or Evelyn's. I'm trying to remember all the names. Lynn's big green dragon, right? And then we did a line underneath the verb, and we showed the subject of the sentence connected to the verb like this, boing, right? Dragon ate what? Dragon ate teacher. So we joined it that way too. Now what I want you to do is find the adjectives. These are the words that describe the nouns, you know, like elegant, fancy, pretty, elephantine, right? And put brackets around them. So brackets look like this. Because we use brackets to show additional information that's not quite everything that you need to have a complete thought, but it adds more information. So adjectives in brackets, there are two adjectives. Can you find them? Once you've put brackets around the adjectives, write them in the chat. What are the two words that are describing one of the nouns in this sentence? Because that's what adjectives do. They throw information towards the subject, towards the object, towards the noun. Da, 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 da. Oh, I can see some chat coming up. Look at all this chat. Let's have a look. Bum, 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 bum. Ooh, very, very fast, George. Big and green. Melanie says, it's not Melanie, it's Emily, isn't it? Says big, absolutely. Big, green. Yes, very good. Don't forget green, because green also describes that dragon, right? So here's my terrible bracket around big and my terrible bracket around green. I'm sure you did much better brackets than this, right? So big describes the dragon. She's a big dragon. And green describes the dragon. She's a green dragon. So I'm actually connecting big and green to the dragon with these lines at the top. You do the same. Go ahead and put some lines to show that big describes dragon, green describes dragon. Look at all the marking you've done. You realize that this is kind of work that they do at university on words, right? And you're doing it. It's very good. It's very, very good. Have you got your lines? All right, your next exercise is this. You ready? Instead of big or green, what I want you to do is write an adjective up here, another one to describe dragon. When you finish doing that, put it in brackets and then write it in the chat. My adjective is lovely. Lynn's lovely dragon. You do a different one, or you can copy my one. Lovely. My Lynn's lovely dragon. Right, great. Now, what's in the chat? Let's have a look. Gigantic. Oh, spiky. Ooh, these are really good. These are amazing. These are amazing adjectives. Adjectives describe nouns. They are there to serve nouns. They're in the service of nouns, just nouns. Adjectives don't describe anything else in sentences. So Harry is just there for the Queen. That's it. No one else. Yep. Just for the Queen, just for nouns. There are other words that describe other words, but that is a story for the next lesson, okay? But nouns and adjectives go together. They are partners, okay? There we go. All right. Oh, we've got some pretty amazing adjectives coming up. Spiky, gigantic, my giant pink dragon. Oh, I love that, George. My giant pink dragon. Angry, yes, Maggie. Mine, do you mean my dragon? I think that's what you might mean. Fat, fake. Ooh, fake dragon. I like that. Fiery, that's amazing. This dragon is quite fiery. Look at that. Yep. Very good. Happy, that's a good one. I like that. Did anyone write my elephantine dragon? Because that's a new word you've learned today, right? That's a good adjective. Words that end in ein like that are often adjectives. You can tell the part of speech of a word just by what's on the end sometimes. Dun, dun, dun. All right. That was a really short lesson, wasn't it? Because that's all I want to tell you about adjectives. That's it. That's it. Oh, mean. Yes, nice one, Margot. Nice one. I like that a lot. Although it's a bit, a bit controversial. That's a good thing. It's a really good thing. Oh, Jack, soft, cuddly, blue, dragon. And then you've got dragon pillow. Now, if you have dragon pillow, right, then what you're describing is the noun pillow, and you're now using that word dragon as an adjective, and you can do that as well. How weird is that? Do you want to, oh, violent. Wow. Do you want to hear something else about adjectives, which you actually know, but you may never have been taught before? This is the really, really cool thing about adjectives. They come in a certain order, right? You actually know this, even though, because look at Jack, right? Soft, cuddly, blue. It would sound weird, right, if he said blue, soft, cuddly dragon. To put color first, we don't usually do that. We usually put color right before the noun. Isn't that weird? So size and color and that sort of thing, they have order. And actually there is an order that some people have learned, which I've forgotten. You all know it. You actually all know it. So there you go. Bossy dragon. I like that. Yeah, that's a good one. You're really good at adjectives. You completely smashed adjectives. And actually what you've done is that you've smashed nouns, pronouns, verbs, and adjectives this week, right? That's a lot. That's a lot for a bunch of little half-hour sessions. It's amazing. From that, we're going to build more stuff, okay? All right, that was really short, but I'm done. And it's Thursday. It's our last lesson to this week. We will come back next week for shizzle. Does it? Oh, tough. I like that. So here goes some hands up. George, you're first. Tiny, that's a
Did
good.
we learn about fanboys?
Well, that's conjunctions.
Oh.
With conjunctions, right? With fanboys, right? There's the yet. Nobody uses that conjunction anymore, so it's a bit like, not that useful anymore. But we'll get there. We'll get to conjunctions for sure. I love that you know about fanboys. Do you know why you know about fanboys, George? Because your mum's a genius.
This lady right here.
She's a genius, yes. And she can turn up anytime. All right, we've got tiny, big, pretty. Yes, Tansley kids, let's have a beautiful question from you. I haven't seen you for ages. I've unmuted you, but you have to actually press the button. Or have you disappeared? Disappeared. Oh well. Now, any other questions? There's lots of people stretching and brushing their hair, and I think you're asking a question, and you're not. Are you?
Sorry, they disappeared.
They disappeared. That's all right. Sean, are you asking a question? Yes. Awesome. And I like that you press the button for your hand up too. So go for it. You have to press yes to unmute. Do you know how to do that? I've asked to unmute, but you've got to press a button. Are you pointing to your hair? No. Fair enough. Oh no. I think there's some button you've got to press, Sean, that will let you speak. So I'll definitely wait. While I'm waiting. What was your question?
What's your question, Sean?
Forgot.
Okay, sometimes that happens. Don't put yourself back on mute just yet, because you might remember. So
I don't remember.
Oh, it took so long. Never mind. If you think of it, just email me. So we've got big, pretty, toothless, big, magical dragon. These are all incredible adjectives. Really, really good work. Really good work. All right. Do we have any other questions? Jolly. Oh, I like that one. That's a really good one. Jolly dragon. Smelly. Oh, smells of burnt marshmallows. That's what dragons in my head smell of. Yes, Caitlin, Lily, and Bethany. You're up.
How many adjectives can you have?
How many adjectives can you have? Really, really good question.
Describe a noun.
To describe a noun. Yeah, that's a brilliant question. Beautifully good as well. My goodness. So there's no rule about that. Nobody says you can have this many, but you can't have this many. But every time you write something, right, you have to think about your audience, the person that's reading what you're writing. So if you have too many adjectives, guess what happens? You become boring, right? Okay, and you don't want that. So you can't have too many adjectives. The person reading it will go, not more adjectives, and will fall asleep. Boring is a good adjective, actually. So it's up to you. There's no rule, but don't do too many. Don't do too many because your reader will run away. Boring dragon. No. Now, I don't know why the Chancellor kids have written loser, but that's a noun, and we're on adjectives. Okay, you could say stinking loser, but that would be a terrible thing to say. Anything else? Has anybody else got any questions? Well, looks like you've all gone quiet. Looks like you've all gone quiet. Okay, in that case, I'm going to. Colette says, thanks, Lynn, Queenie, and Harry. Why, thank you very much, Colette. Yes, indeed, thank you. Who knows who you're going to see on Tuesday? Merci, Lynn. Oh, wow, that's lovely. It's French. You're welcome. I don't know how to say you're welcome in French.
Bonjour.
Oh, wow, Sean, that was really good French. Bonjour to you. Sorry, it went a bit distorted.
Je m'appelle Sean.
One more time. Oh, je m'appelle Sean. Oh, comment ça va, Sean? All right. That's very good.
Or
Delia,
some Français.
that's great. I'm glad you speak Francais. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Annoying, says Margot. That's a good adjective, Margot.
And I wrote the poopy dragon.
Did you? Was that going to be your question, Sean? Because that's rude.
We're going to unmute you now. Thank you.
I love it when the parents step in. All right. I think that's it. It's been really good. Maggie, did you have a question? No? Yes? Well, I think you can unmute yourselves. If you can, go ahead and do that. But guess what? It's a really, really short lesson. But it is time to say goodbye. Oh, yeah, Maggie. Or will you just say goodbye?
Bye.
Good stuff. All right, start waving, everyone, because it is time to say
Au revoir. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Merci. Au revoir.
Hi, Llewellyn.
Bye, Lisa.
you have to press leave because Patrick is staying on for a meeting. See you next
Au
time.
revoir.
Au revoir, Llewellyn.
Au revoir.
Bon, tu as plus dit?